The words still echoed in my head as I stood outside Hamilton Tower, staring up at the gleaming glass building that housed Hamilton Industries headquarters. "You're worthless, Amanda. A disappointment. Get out of my sight." That was yesterday. Today I held the property deed to not just this building, but every major office complex the Hamilton family owned. 5 years of careful planning had led to this moment. My phone buzzed, probably another angry message from my family. They'd been calling non-stop since getting the notice from their property management company this morning. Instead of the usual rent invoice, they'd received a letter announcing new ownership. Shadow Ridge Properties LLC. My company. Ms. Ridge. My assistant Michael appeared beside me. The Hamilton family is demanding an emergency meeting with the new owner. I smiled, straightening my charcoal Armani suit. How fitting. Let's not keep them waiting. Inside the lobby, the security guard did a double take as I walked past. He'd seen me countless times over the years, always dismissed me as the Hamilton disappointment. Now I owned his workplace. "They're in the main conference room," Michael reported. "Your father, brother Thomas, and sister Rebecca." Perfect. I checked my reflection in the elevator's mirrored walls. Gone was the timid girl they'd berated for studying real estate instead of joining the family business. In her place stood Amanda Ridge, CEO of Shadow Ridge Properties, owner of $4.2 billion in prime commercial real estate. The conference room doors opened to chaos. Dad was red-faced, shouting into his phone about legal action. Thomas paced nervously, his designer suit wrinkled from stress. Rebecca sat frozen, staring at the property transfer documents. "Who the hell are you?" Dad demanded as I entered. "Amanda Ridge," I replied calmly. "Your new landlord." The phone slipped from his hand. "Amanda," Rebecca whispered. "But, you're Amanda Hamilton." I corrected, taking the seat at the head of the table, Dad's usual spot. "I changed it legally when I started Shadow Ridge Properties. 5 years ago, right after you all told me I'd never amount to anything in real estate." "This is impossible," Thomas sputtered. "Where would you get the money to buy these buildings?" I opened my laptop, displaying Shadow Ridge's portfolio. "Remember that worthless degree in real estate development? Turns out it was quite valuable. While you were running Hamilton Industries, I was quietly building the largest commercial real estate firm in the region." "Under a fake name," Dad growled. "A legal name change," I corrected. "I learned from you, Dad. Always control the real estate your business depends on, remember? That's what you taught Thomas and Rebecca. You just never thought I was worth teaching." "You can't do this," Dad slammed his fist on the table. "We have a lease." "Had a lease," I corrected, pulling out more documents. "Which expired last night at midnight." "Convenient timing, wouldn't you say?" Rebecca grabbed the papers, her perfectly manicured hands shaking. These are new lease terms. Triple the current rate," I confirmed. "Market value, actually. You've been underpaying for years thanks to Dad's connections with the previous owner." "Previous owner?" Thomas's eyes widened. "Old man Jenkins. You bought him out." I smiled, remembering the day I'd approached Jenkins with my offer. He was quite impressed by my business plan. Said it reminded him of Dad in his younger days before the arrogance set in. "We'll fight this," Dad threatened. "Our lawyers." "Your lawyers can't change property law," I interrupted. "These buildings are mine legally and completely. You can sign the new leases or you can vacate. You have 48 hours to decide." 48 hours? Rebecca looked faint. "We can't move a multinational corporation in 2 days." "Not my problem." I stood, smoothing my suit. "Oh, and the construction crew arrives tomorrow to begin renovations. Hope you don't mind some noise." "Construction." Thomas paled. "What construction?" "Complete modernization of all properties. New facades, updated systems, improved security." I paused. "Starting with the executive floor, of course." "Your floor." Dad finally found his voice again. "You're doing this for revenge." "Revenge?" I laughed. "Dad, I'm doing exactly what you always wanted, maximizing property value and return on investment. Isn't that what you taught them?" I gestured to my siblings. "While telling me I was worthless?" My phone buzzed. Alerts showing Hamilton Industries stock dropping as news of the property situation spread. "Your stock's falling," I noted. Investors don't like uncertainty about corporate headquarters. Better decide quickly about those leases. You do this to your own family? Rebecca pleaded. Family. I turned to her. Like when you uninvited me from your wedding because I was embarrassing to explain to your in-laws. Or when Thomas got me blacklisted from real estate firms because I wouldn't join Hamilton Industries. That was business, Thomas defended weakly. Exactly. I headed for the door. This is just business too. Nothing personal. Though the look on your faces is a delightful bonus. Wait, Dad called. What do you really want? I paused at the door. What do I want? I want you to understand something. That worthless daughter you dismissed? She now owns the roof over your head. Every morning when you come to work, you'll enter my building. Every month when you write the rent check, it'll be to my company. And every time you look out these windows at the city skyline, you'll see my name on buildings that used to have yours. You'll regret this, he threatened. No, Dad. The only thing I regret is wasting years trying to earn your approval. I nodded to Michael. Have security escort them out when they're done. And start moving the construction equipment in. I want them to hear every drill, every hammer, every reminder that they're no longer in control. As I walked out, I heard Rebecca burst into tears and Thomas start arguing with Dad about their options. But above it all, I heard the sweet sound of karma. Construction crews already unloading equipment, ready to begin dismantling the Hamilton family's comfort zone. My phone buzzed again. Jenkins, saw the news. Your father must be furious. Livid, I replied. Thanks for keeping our deal quiet. My pleasure. Sometimes the best lessons come from those we underestimate. Looking up at my building, I smiled. Sometimes being called worthless is just the motivation you need to prove exactly how much you're worth. And I was worth every penny of the $4.2 billion it had taken to buy their world out from under them. The next morning, I sat in my new office, formerly Dad's corner suite, watching the construction crews begin their work. The rhythmic pounding of jackhammers provided a perfect soundtrack to the Hamilton family's downfall. Ms. Ridge, Michael entered with a stack of newspapers. You might enjoy today's headlines. Hamilton Industries faces property crisis. Mystery landlord reveals family connection. Amanda Ridge, from disowned daughter to real estate mogul. And this just came in. He handed me a thick envelope. Their lawyer's counterproposal. I skimmed the document, laughing at their desperate attempts to maintain control. They'd offered to buy the buildings back at a 20% premium. Send this response, I dictated to Michael. Thank you for your offer. However, Shadow Ridge Properties is not interested in selling. Your new lease terms remain unchanged. Tick-tock. My phone lit up with messages. Rebecca, please Amanda. We can work something out. Family should mean something. Thomas, this is business suicide. You're destroying everything Dad built. Dad, you want to play hardball? Remember who taught you everything you know. I forwarded them all to my lawyers, then pulled up the security feeds. The Hamilton Industries executive floor was in chaos. Employees dodged falling ceiling tiles as construction crews gutted the outdated infrastructure. In the main conference room, Dad and his board of directors shouted over the noise, desperately trying to formulate a plan. Their stock is down another 15%, Michael reported. Shareholders are demanding answers about the property situation. And the other tenants? Most have already signed the new market rate leases. Only Hamilton Industries is holding out. I smiled, remembering all the times Dad had bragged about his business acumen. How long until their clients start questioning their stability? It's already happening. 3 major accounts called this morning, concerned about the headquarters situation. Perfect. Everything was unfolding exactly as I'd planned. 5 years of careful preparation, of building Shadow Ridge Properties in secret, of waiting for their leases to expire, all leading to this moment. A commotion outside caught my attention. Through the glass walls, I saw Thomas arguing with security. Let him in, I instructed. This should be entertaining. Thomas burst into my office, his expensive suit dusty from the construction debris. You have to stop this. Stop what? I gestured to the crews. Improving my properties. Isn't that what Dad always preached? Reinvest in your assets. You know what I mean. He slumped into a chair. The noise, the disruption, the market uncertainty. You're killing us. Killing you. I pulled up Hamilton Industries' financial records they didn't know I had. Your company has been dying for years. Bad investments, outdated technology, overpriced products. The only thing keeping you afloat was Dad's artificially low rent agreement with Jenkins. How did you get those files? I learned from the best. Remember when you had me blacklisted? I spent that time learning everything about Hamilton Industries. Every weakness, every vulnerability, every skeleton in your corporate closet. What do you want? He demanded. Money? A position in the company. I laughed. Thomas, I made more money last year than Hamilton Industries did in the past 5. And as for a position, I gestured to my office. I'd say I have a pretty good one. Then why? Why? I stood walking to the window. Look at that skyline. Every premium building, every prime location now owned by Shadow Ridge Properties. The daughter you all called worthless now controls the very ground you work on. Dad was wrong, Thomas admitted quietly. About you. About everything. Yes, he was. I turned back to him. And now he gets to learn that lesson every time he writes a rent check. My phone buzzed. The property management company, Hamilton Industries, requesting emergency meeting about lease terms. Time's running out, brother, I noted. 40 hours left to sign the new lease or find new headquarters. Though good luck finding Class A office space in this city that I don't own. You'd really evict us? Your own family. Family. I pulled up a video on my laptop, footage from 5 years ago, the day they'd thrown me out. Watch this, Thomas. Watch how you treated family. The video played. Dad screaming that I was worthless, Thomas blocking my access to business contacts, Rebecca laughing as security escorted me out. That's not who we are anymore, he protested weakly. No, I agreed. Now you're my tenants. And tenants need to pay market rate. Another crash from the construction. Thomas winced. Better get back to your crisis meeting, I suggested. Oh, and tomorrow the crews start on the plumbing. Hope you don't mind cold showers in the executive bathroom. As he left, Michael entered with more updates. Their board is demanding an emergency session. 3 vice presidents have resigned. And their biggest client just called. They're re-evaluating their relationship with Hamilton Industries. Send them my standard response, I instructed. Shadow Ridge Properties values all its tenants equally. Market rate is non-negotiable. My phone buzzed again. Dad, you win. Name your price. I typed back, already did. It's in the lease agreement. Tick-tock. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong. It's becoming their landlord and renovating their worldview, one jackhammer at a time. As the 48-hour deadline approached, I watched Hamilton Industries unravel through my network of cameras. Employees whispered in corners, executives made frantic phone calls, and moving companies delivered stacks of boxes, just in case. Final count, Michael reported. Stock down 47% since Monday. 4 major clients suspended contracts. And the board has called for an emergency vote of no confidence in your father's leadership. I sipped my coffee, savoring each update. And the media? He handed me his tablet. The business networks were having a field day. Hamilton Empire crumbles under property pressure. Like father, unlike daughter. The Amanda Ridge success story. Real estate prodigy turns tables on family dynasty. A knock at my door interrupted our morning briefing. Rebecca stood there looking decidedly less polished than usual. The prodigal sister returns. I gestured for her to enter. Sleep well? The construction noise starts quite early, doesn't it? We need to talk, she sat down, dark circles under her eyes. About the past, about now, about fixing this. Fixing. I raised an eyebrow. There's nothing to fix. The situation is quite simple. Sign the new lease or vacate. You know it's not that simple. She leaned forward. Dad's having a heart attack. I paused, studying her face for signs of manipulation. Really? Or is this another Hamilton family performance? He collapsed an hour ago. Thomas is with him at Mount Sinai. She pulled out her phone, showing me hospital photos. The doctors say it's stress-induced. How unfortunate. I kept my voice neutral. Though I seem to recall no one visiting me in the hospital after my car accident 3 years ago. The one caused by working 3 jobs to build my company after you blacklisted me. We were wrong, Rebecca whispered. So wrong. About everything. Yes, you were. I pulled up more security footage. Remember this? My graduation day when Dad said my real estate degree was a waste of good Hamilton genes. Or this. The day Thomas convinced the board not to lease office space to my first company. We can't change the past, she pleaded. No, but we can certainly pay for it. In market rate rent, specifically. My phone buzzed, the hospital confirming Dad's admission. Cardiac episode, serious but stable. He's asking for you, Rebecca said quietly. Of course he is. Now that he needs something. I stood straightening my suit. The deadline remains. 30 hours left. The company will collapse without those buildings. Then perhaps Dad should have thought about that before teaching his children that real estate is power. I smiled. Though he only taught that lesson to you and Thomas. I had to learn it myself. Michael walked in. The board voted. Your father is suspended as CEO until the property issue is resolved. Rebecca's phone buzzed, but she kept her eyes on me. What do you really want, Amanda? Beyond raising rent, what's your goal? I looked out the window at workers replacing the Hamilton Industries sign. I want Dad to wake up knowing his worthless daughter owns his world. I want Thomas to remember my wasted degree when he pays rent. I want you to think about loyalty every time you hear construction tearing your comfort apart. And then, she asked. Then I keep building my empire while you all work in my buildings, paying my rates, living in my shadow. My phone buzzed. Dad's doctor. Urgent. Tell Thomas I'll see Dad tomorrow, after you sign the new leases. You're blackmailing us while Dad's in the hospital? No, I'm doing business. The same way you all did when you ruined mine. Rebecca left. Michael returned. Hamilton stock trading is halted. Delay construction? He asked. No, I smiled. Add a night shift. I want them to hear exactly what worthless sounds like. Sometimes the best revenge is success that keeps your enemies awake at night.